The first question that I noticed was from my friend Jay-Z, not Jay-Z Knight. I'm not friends with Jay-Z Knight, but I was asking a question about a political question, and I'm doing my best to remain apolitical most of the time. But the question was asked, and here's my answer. In every case, my answer will be my opinion. In every case, my answer will be my opinion. Political systems thrive on division because divided people are easy to manage. They're more easy to manage than united people. Left versus right isn't a natural disagreement. It's actively fueled by media incentives, political funding, and power structures that benefit when citizens fight each other instead of questioning the system itself. The algorithms of social media reinforce the bubble or echo chamber that each of us is in and skew us toward further separation. Algorithms, any social media. You like something, you get more of it. But that's the way life is by the law of magnetic attraction. Some of you have heard this concept before, that things that are similar are drawn. The way people wake up isn't through arguing and presenting facts and giving evidence, but by recognizing shared struggles, for example, like the cost of living, fear about the future, lack of trust, loss of meaning. When people see they're hurting in similar ways, the emotional wall between the sides weakens. Referring to folks as sheeple or evil or Nazis doesn't really help. Ad hominem attacks are not the way to convince the people that believe different from you to believe the way you do. And unfortunately, that's what we've been conditioned to. The good news is we're growing as a species. Speaking in terms of values like freedom, dignity, fairness, and safety may help both sides feel seen instead of being attacked, feel like they're being attacked. Real change happens when people turn attention upwards instead of sideways, away from neighbor to neighbor conflict and toward things that we share. Difficult as it may seem, away from systems that reward corruption, manipulation, and concentrated power. And yeah, it's different. But let's face it, boys and girls, we're in a different universe now than we were 20 years ago. I was having a chat with my friend earlier. Isn't it amazing watching television? At one point, some of you are too young to know this, but at one point, we had to wait a week to watch our favorite show and see what happened next. And if we missed one, we had to wait for summer reruns. And then if we managed to time it right, we might see it. We didn't have on-demand everything like you have now, but we do have on-demand everything. And consciousness is evolving. And you don't have to believe that we've tried it in Atlantis and we tried it before, but this time we're going to make it. You don't have to believe that. I happen to. In my opinion, we as a species, historically speaking, are just now becoming aware of the reality that we as a whole, en masse, have been misled. The frustration many of us have felt is we feel like our siblings refuse to recognize the deleterious effects of such division and finger pointing and blame fixing and name calling and ad hominem attacks, etc. If one has become positioned by whatever means, be it familial history, formal education, or peer pressure, if one has been habituated to a political posture, it requires serious thought and effort to overcome. There must be, first, in my opinion, at least two things: a recognition and awareness that manipulation has been and is going on, has been going on and is going on, and it continues to be used on the population. And number two, there must be desire to grow past it. We as individuals have to want us to get better. And feeding the ego, giving the ego its juice by thinking someone else is less than, and pointing out the facts doesn't necessarily help. Recognizing such tendencies in ourselves may help us with understanding, even forgiving when we observe it in others. Unity doesn't start with convincing others. It starts with individuals refusing to hate their neighbors and choosing curiosity over outrage. That's how this nonsense actually ends. That and an evolution in consciousness, which in my opinion is happening right now. An evolution in consciousness. And you and I, my sibling, are doing it. So, as my friend Aditi says, keep growing, keep evolving. What else does she say? I don't remember, but anyway. Life Catalyst Aditi, my friend from someplace over near India or Pakistan or something like that. Forgive me, Aditi, if I don't remember exactly where. My friend Aditi. So, real change happens when people turn attention upward instead of sideways, away from neighbor-to-neighbor conflict, and difficult as it may seem, away from systems that reward corruption, manipulation, and concentrated power. In my opinion, we as a species are, historically speaking, just now becoming aware of the reality that we as a whole, en masse, have been misled. The frustration many of us have felt is that our siblings seemingly refuse to notice the damaging effect of maintaining a stringent political position. If one has been positioned by whatever means, be it familial history, formal education, or peer pressure, if one has become habituated to a political posture, that requires serious thought and effort to overcome. There must be a recognition and awareness that manipulation has been and continues to be used on the populace, and there must be the desire to grow past it. And that's up to the individual, folks. Each of us individually. I love you. Thanks for asking.